If you're doing intermittent fasting and the scale won't move, if your belly fat is still there after weeks of skipping breakfast, if you're hungry, exhausted, and frustrated because fasting was supposed to be the answer, but you're not seeing results, I need you to understand something. It's not your fault, and fasting isn't broken. But you are making at least one of the 7 mistakes that are completely stalling your fat loss. As a physician, I've seen hundreds of people transform their bodies using intermittent fasting. But I've also seen just as many fail, not because fasting doesn't work, but because they're making subtle mistakes that sabotage the process. Fasting is one of the most powerful tools for fat loss, but only when done correctly. When done incorrectly, it can slow your metabolism, increase cortisol, trigger muscle loss, and lock your body into fat storage mode. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most common mistakes. By the end, you'll know exactly how to fix every single one, so fasting finally works the way it's supposed to. Mistake number 1, breaking your fast with the wrong foods. Most people think that as long as they fast for the designated window, it doesn't matter what they eat when breaking the fast. But during your fast, insulin drops significantly. Your body switches from burning glucose to burning fat. You've created the perfect metabolic environment for fat loss. Then you break your fast with orange juice and oatmeal, or a smoothie loaded with fruit. Within minutes, your blood sugar skyrockets. Your pancreas floods your system with insulin. All that metabolic progress gets erased instantly. When you break a fast with high glycemic carbohydrates, your insulin spikes even higher than normal because your cells are in a heightened state of insulin sensitivity. That spike doesn't just store the carbs you ate, it shuts down fat burning for 4 to 6 hours afterward. You fasted for 16 hours, then shut down fat burning for the next 6. The correct way to break a fast is with protein and healthy fats first. Eggs with avocado, salmon with greens, Greek yogurt with nuts. These foods stabilize blood sugar, keep insulin low, and allow continued fat burning. Save carbohydrates for later in the day. Mistake number 2, fasting for too long without adequate preparation. Someone hears about fasting, gets excited, and jumps straight into a 20-hour fast on their first attempt. But if your body isn't metabolically flexible yet, extended fasting will be torture and will backfire. When you fast too long too soon, your body perceives starvation. Cortisol skyrockets. Your body breaks down muscle tissue to convert protein into glucose. Your metabolic rate drops, and when you finally eat, you're ravenously hungry and likely to overeat. Fasting requires metabolic adaptation. Start with 12 hours, then move to 14, then 16. Give your body 2 to 3 weeks at each level. This allows your hormones to adjust and hunger signals to recalibrate. When you progress slowly, fasting becomes effortless. Mistake number 3, not eating enough protein during your eating window. When fasting, your body needs a strong anabolic signal to preserve muscle. Muscle burns calories 24/7, but people fast for 16 to 18 hours, then eat small meals with maybe 60 to 80 grams of protein total. That's nowhere near enough. During a calorie deficit, your body constantly decides whether to burn fat or muscle. Protein intake is the primary signal to preserve muscle. When protein is inadequate, your body catabolizes muscle. You lose weight, but much of it is muscle, not fat. When you lose muscle, your metabolism slows permanently. You need 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily. If you weigh 180 pounds, that's 144 to 180 grams daily. Break your fast with 40 to 50 grams of protein. Eat another 40 to 50 grams at your second meal. Make protein the foundation. Mistake number 4, consuming hidden calories during your fasting window. People are completely unaware they're doing this. Let me be clear. Anything that triggers an insulin response breaks a fast. Anything with calories breaks a fast. Patients tell me fasting isn't working, then reveal they're consuming coffee with cream, tea with honey, diet soda, sugar-free gum, BCAAs, or coconut oil in coffee. They think these don't count, but every single one breaks your fast. Even small amounts of cream trigger insulin. Honey is pure sugar. Artificial sweeteners still trigger insulin in many people. BCAAs are protein. Coconut oil is fat, which is calories. When you consume these during fasting, you prevent your body from fully entering a fasted state. Insulin never drops to baseline. You're stuck in metabolic limbo. Here's what you can consume: water, black coffee with nothing added, plain tea, sparkling water with no flavoring, salt water for electrolytes. That's it. Mistake number 5, not managing electrolytes. When you fast, insulin drops. And when insulin drops, your kidneys excrete more sodium and water. If you don't replace that sodium, you become deficient. Low sodium causes headaches, fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, muscle cramps, weakness, and intense hunger cravings. Most people interpret these as signs that fasting is bad, but the problem is electrolyte imbalance. You need 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium per day when fasting. That's 1 to 2 teaspoons of sea salt. Add half a teaspoon to your water in the morning. You also need adequate potassium and magnesium. When your electrolytes are balanced, fasting feels easy. When depleted, it feels like torture. Mistake number 6, doing excessive cardio during extended fasts. Intense cardio while deeply fasted is one of the fastest ways to sabotage results. When you're fasted, glycogen stores are depleted. If you do a 60-minute spin class or long run, your body doesn't have enough readily available energy from fat. So it releases massive cortisol to break down muscle and convert it into glucose. You're literally eating your own muscle to fuel your workout. And chronic cortisol promotes visceral fat storage around your midsection. You're working out hard, but losing muscle and promoting belly fat. The correct approach: if fasting 16 hours or more, limit exercise to low-intensity activity like walking or light yoga. These burn fat without spiking cortisol. Save high-intensity training for your fed state, or keep fasting shorter, like 12 to 14 hours, with adequate carbs the night before. Mistake number 7, eating too much during your eating window. This is hard to hear because fasting feels like a sacrifice. You're fighting hunger for 16 to 18 hours, so when it's time to eat, you feel like you've earned the right to eat freely. But here's the reality: fat loss requires a calorie deficit. Period. If you're consuming more calories than you're burning, you won't lose fat. Fasting makes it easier to create a deficit by eliminating meals, but if you compensate by overeating, you erase that deficit. Patients fast for 18 hours, then break with a huge meal, snacks, another huge dinner, then dessert. They've compressed all calories into 6 hours, but they're still eating 2,500 or 3,000 calories. The scale doesn't move. The problem is total calorie intake. The solution: be mindful. Break your fast with a moderate meal. Eat until satisfied, not stuffed. Don't treat your eating window like an all-you-can-eat buffet. The goal is normal eating in a compressed time frame. The complete protocol to fix all 7 mistakes. First, break your fast correctly. Start with protein and fat, eggs with avocado, salmon with olive oil, Greek yogurt with nuts. This stabilizes blood sugar. Wait 2 to 3 hours before consuming significant carbohydrates. Second, progress gradually. Start with 12 hours. After 2 weeks, move to 14. After another 2 weeks, move to 16. Only extend beyond 16 if you have stable energy and no intense hunger. Most people get excellent results with 16 hours. Third, prioritize protein. Calculate 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Spread that across your eating window. If eating 2 meals, that's 40 to 60 grams per meal. Fourth, consume only water, black coffee, plain tea, and electrolyte water during fasting. No cream, no sweeteners, no BCAAs. Be strict. Fifth, manage electrolytes. Add half a teaspoon of sea salt to your water in the morning. If fasting longer than 16 hours, add another in the afternoon. Supplement with magnesium at night, 300 to 400 milligrams. Eat potassium-rich foods during your eating window. Sixth, match exercise to your fasting state. If deep into a fast, stick to low-intensity movement. If you want intense training, do it in your fed state or keep your fast shorter. Seventh, be mindful of total calorie intake. You don't need to obsessively track, but you need awareness. Eat balanced meals. Don't use your window as permission to binge. Common questions: how long does it take to see results? Most people notice improved energy within 3 to 5 days. Visible fat loss typically becomes apparent within 2 to 3 weeks if you're in a proper deficit. What if I'm doing everything right and still not losing weight? Then you're likely not in a calorie deficit. You may need to reduce portion sizes slightly or add more low-intensity movement. Can women fast the same way as men? Women are generally more sensitive to fasting. If you're experiencing menstrual irregularities, extreme hunger, or sleep disturbances, you may need a shorter fasting window, like 12 to 14 hours, or cycle fasting 5 days a week instead of 7. Is it okay to have coffee with cream? No, not if you want the full benefits. Cream breaks the fast. Train your taste buds to enjoy black coffee by gradually reducing cream over 7 to 10 days, or shift coffee to your eating window. Should I fast every single day? Most people do well with daily 16-8 once adapted. But if you're experiencing fatigue or hormonal issues, consider cycling. Fast 5 days, eat normally in a 12-hour window on weekends. Listen to your body. What if I get extremely hungry during my fast? First, check your electrolytes. Low sodium mimics hunger. Second, make sure you ate enough protein and fat at your last meal. Third, drink water or black coffee. Hunger comes in waves and passes. If persistent and severe, your fasting window may be too long. Can I do intermittent fasting if I have a medical condition? If you have diabetes, take medications, have a history of eating disorders, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or have any medical condition, consult with your physician before starting any fasting protocol. Fasting can affect blood sugar and medication timing. How do I know if I'm losing fat versus muscle? Track your waist circumference, not just the scale. If your waist is shrinking but the scale isn't moving much, you're likely losing fat and maintaining muscle, which is ideal. Also monitor your strength. If your lifts are maintaining or improving, you're preserving muscle. If they're dropping significantly, increase your protein and reduce your fasting window. What should I do if I accidentally break my fast early? Don't spiral. Just shift your eating window for that day. If you broke your fast at hour 14 instead of hour 16, eat your meals as planned and start your next fast from there. Consistency matters more than perfection. Is it better to fast every day or do longer fasts less frequently? For most people, daily time-restricted feeding of 14 to 16 hours is more sustainable and produces better long-term results than occasional 24 or 48-hour fasts. Daily fasting creates consistent metabolic benefits and improves adherence. Can I build muscle while intermittent fasting? Yes, absolutely. As long as you're eating adequate protein, training with progressive overload, and consuming enough total calories during your eating window, you can build muscle while fasting. The key is hitting your protein target and not being in too severe of a deficit. What's the biggest mistake people make when trying to fix their fasting? Trying to fix everything at once and getting overwhelmed. Pick 1 or 2 mistakes to address first. Master those, then add the next. Progressive implementation beats perfection paralysis. What if my family eats breakfast and I feel left out? Shift your fasting window to match your lifestyle. If family breakfast is important, fast from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day instead of skipping breakfast. The timing doesn't matter as much as the duration. Find a window that fits your life. Do I need to exercise while fasting to see results? No. Fasting alone, when done correctly, will produce fat loss results if you're in a calorie deficit. Exercise enhances results and preserves muscle, but it's not mandatory. If you're new to both fasting and exercise, master fasting first, then add exercise later. Can I drink bone broth during my fast? Bone broth contains protein and calories, so technically it breaks a fast. However, if you're struggling with electrolytes or need something warm and satisfying, a small cup of bone broth is better than breaking your fast with food. It's a compromise that may help adherence, though it reduces the depth of your fasted state. How do I handle social situations while fasting? Be flexible. If you have a breakfast meeting or brunch with friends, shift your fasting window for that day. Social connection and quality of life matter. Don't become so rigid with fasting that you isolate yourself. The goal is sustainable health, not perfection. Fasting is not a magic solution. It's a powerful tool that works when implemented correctly with attention to detail, progression, and individual adaptation. The 7 mistakes I've outlined are the difference between fasting that transforms your body and fasting that frustrates you for months. These mistakes are costing you fat loss right now, but they're fixable. You don't need to do everything perfectly, you just need to do it correctly. Break your fast with protein and fat, not carbohydrates. Progress your fasting window gradually instead of jumping to 20-hour fasts. Eat adequate protein during your window to preserve muscle. Consume nothing but water, coffee, and tea during your fast, no hidden calories. Manage your electrolytes, especially sodium. Match your exercise intensity to your fasting state, and be mindful of total calorie intake during your eating window. Fix these mistakes one by one. Give your body time to adapt. Be patient with the process. Most people make 3 or 4 of these mistakes simultaneously without even realizing it. That's why fasting feels so hard and produces such disappointing results. But when you correct these mistakes, fasting becomes effortless. Your hunger signals normalize, your energy stabilizes, your workouts improve, your body composition changes, and the fat that's been stubbornly clinging to your midsection finally starts to melt away. You've been doing the work, you've been fasting, you've been disciplined, you just needed the right information to make that discipline pay off, and now you have it. Start with mistake number 1. Fix how you break your fast. Get that right for 1 week. Then address mistake number 4. The hidden calories. Get strict about consuming nothing but water, coffee, and tea during your fast. Then tackle mistake number 5 and optimize your electrolytes. Layer these corrections one at a time. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll have fixed all 7 mistakes, and fasting will finally start delivering the results you were promised. Your body wants to burn fat. You just have to stop making the mistakes that are preventing it from doing so.